How's it going, guys? It's Red, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys a super powerful SMG DPS build that you guys could be using right now in Back 4 Blood. Now, with this build, you guys should be able to easily get through Recruit and Veteran, and this build can even be taken into Nightmare. But before we get into that, if you're new here to the channel, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe for more awesome Back 4 Blood content just like this. Also, make sure to check out the link to my Discord server. It's going to be down in the description below. You guys can use it to find teammates to play Back 4 Blood with, so if you guys are in some dire need of teammates, make sure to come check out the Discord server. And without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Alright, so here we are in the deck building menu in Back 4 Blood. This is going to be the complete deck list, so if you guys are just looking to copy and paste the deck, now is your time to do so. But for the remainder of this video, I'm just going to be talking about why every card is where it is and just what role every card plays in the deck and just everything like that. Now, the objective of this deck is quite simple. Now, we are just simply an SMG DPS build, which means we are just going to be trying to deal as much damage as humanly possible, and we are also going to be focusing on other things like our movement speed very slightly and our reload speed and accuracy, just to make sure that we can get in the fight that much quicker, and to make sure that, we can just hit all of our shots and just kill all the special infected as quickly as humanly possible. Now, in the number 1 spot, we have Speed Demon, which gives us plus 4% move speed while using an SMG and plus 35% reload speed while using an SMG. Now, the main reason that this card is all the way up in the number 1 spot is because of the reload speed that this gives us, because just a free 35% reload speed, because, this is effectively just giving us permanent 35% reload speed because we're only going to be using SMGs, you know what I mean? And, look at a card like Widemouth Magwell, right? Like, it only gives us 30% reload speed, and it gives us a downside. Speed Demon gives us even more reload speed than a card like Widemouth Magwell, and it also gives us move speed on top of that. So, I feel like when you have just a card that's so synergistic with a gun type like Speed Demon is with SMGs, you really just have to utilize that as quickly as humanly possible. And at the number 2 spot, we have Reckless Strategy, which gives us plus 30% weak spot damage and minus 5% damage resistance as the downside. Now, the reason that I have Reckless Strategy in the deck, especially at the number 2 spot and over something like Hyper Focused, is because I do feel like with SMGs specifically, I feel like the downside on Hyper Focused is just a little too much to make it playable, because SMGs can't exactly put out the damage that something like an AR can put out, but they make up for it because they reload faster and overall just move quicker than people that are holding ARs. And if you use a card like Hyper Focused in this kind of SMG deck, you're just going to be as slow as like all of the other people, like the AR decks, the sniper decks, and and SMGs, whole shtick is like they're quicker than everybody else, they're just a little bit faster than, just every other gun in the game, and if you, make them just as fast as everything else, then you're just better off playing something like an AR deck. So you just need to stick to, what your weapon category is good at, and for SMGs, it's move speed, and you can't really ever mess with that. That's why Reckless Strategy is here and not Hyper Focused. Now, number 3 is going to be Money Grubbers, which says each time your team loots copper, you gain 3 additional copper, stacking up to 75 additional copper. Now, the reason that this card is at the number 3 spot is because this card is still by far and away just the best copper card. And it's still just absolutely hands down. Like, I know Compound Interest just got, reworked with the new update, but it's still not as good as Money Grubbers. And multiple people can run this card just to make this even more potent. And when you run a card like Money Grubbers, realistically, you don't have to run any other copper cards. And just running this card is gonna pretty much solve all of your financial issues within all of your campaigns. Now, number 4 is going to be Ammo Belt, which gives us plus 50% ammo capacity and plus 15% reload speed. Now, the reason that I'm playing Ammo Belt in this deck rather than something like Ammo Mule is because, yes, I know SMGs tend to go through a lot of ammo, but I do feel like plus 75% ammo capacity might be a bit much, and the plus 15% reload speed just looks really, really attractive for a deck like this that, just really wants to be just as fast as possible at just all of its things. And like I said earlier, we want to really be faster than everything else, and we can't really play cards that make us move slower, and Ammo Mule has a move speed downside, which, is just a, kind of another reason just not to play it. Like, this card just gives you a little bit too much ammo, like, it's just overkill, and this card gives us reload speed too. It's just everything we want. Now, at the number 5 spot, we have Amped Up, which says when a horde is triggered, your team is going to gain 25 temporary health. Now, usually in just about every deck I make, I play a card like Padded Suit, that just gives us some sort of damage resistance, just something that, could stem the bleeding a little bit and just give us a little more protection. And right now, just as of just after the February update, Amped Up seems like the best card to help stem the bleeding, because there are a lot of ways to trigger hordes in Back 4 Blood. There's just a lot, you know. There's, you know, bird hordes, there's sleeper hordes, there's regular hordes. There's just so many ways to make a lot of zombies come at you, and just getting a free 25 temporary health every single time. And it's temporary health. It's not like real health that has to obey the laws of like trauma and stuff like that. You know, temp health goes over trauma, and if you're taking damage and you're taking damage losing temp health, it also doesn't give you trauma. So I mean, temporary health is just broken, and the more people you get to use this card, the more temp health you're gonna get, and just the more busted it's gonna get. Number 6 is going to be Shredder, which says each bullet hit causes the target to take 1% increased damage for 3 seconds, and it stacks up to 15%. Now, a card like this especially shines in SMGs simply because they just have the fastest fire rate, which means they get to that extra 15%, you know, damage dealing as quick as humanly possible, and just having all that extra passive damage for absolutely no downside is just too good to pass up. Now, number 7 is going to be Cold Brew Coffee, which gives us plus 15% reload speed, plus 25% aim speed, weapon swap speed, and use speed. Now, usually when I do something like an AR deck, I usually put this card a bit higher, but I don't think that, you know, the SMGs necessarily need Cold Brew to be, like, within the top 4, like most of the AR decks do. But, I mean, I feel like this card just gives us too many upsides to pass it up with absolutely no downside. Like, it gives us reload speed and aim speed. And, you know, like I've been saying this whole video, SMGs just want to do things as quickly as humanly possible. Their whole thing is based on being mobile. They want to be able to position good. They want to be able to reload quick to be able to get into the action and aim even faster. Now, I mean, I know weapon swap speed and use speed aren't exactly like, you know, all stars, you know, but, I mean, they do come in handy. And, I mean, use speed comes into effect in a lot of things. Because, I mean, anything that requires a progress bar, like, you know, reviving teammates, opening crates, anything like that, use speed is going to make it faster, and just getting all of these boosts for absolutely no downside it's just unrivaled, and you can't beat it. I can't stress that enough. And at number 8, we have Line 'em Up, which gives us plus 10% effective bullet range, 15% recoil control, and 25% bullet penetration and aim speed. Now, much like Cold Brew Coffee, this card is just a really good catch-all. It just really, you know, rounds out everything that, you know, the build was kind of missing at this point, because at this point, all this build does is reload really, really fast, get a lot of copper, and, you know, it just does a lot of damage. You know what I mean? It just does regular damage. Like, it doesn't have very good effective bullet range. You know, I don't have very many things that help with the recoil or the bullet penetration. You know what I mean? Like, this just rounds off so many different categories that just were completely unchecked. Now, at number 9 is going to be Screwdriver, which gives us plus 50% use speed and plus 10% stamina. Now, like I said earlier with Cold Brew Coffee, use speed is kind of a secret all-star that I feel like people just kind of overlook. And I mean, just being able to do all of these things faster is, you know, better than just not being able to do all these things faster. And I mean, with how mobile you're going to end up being, you know, as comparison to like your other teammates, there's a good chance that, you know, there's a situation, you know, where you're the last one up and you need to be able to revive someone like that. And I mean, use speed is going to be able to, you know, really help that, along with opening crates. It's just going to make everything go by faster. And it gives us plus 10% stamina, which is going to really help out with that mobility thing. Now, number 10 is going to be Front Sight Focus, which gives us plus 20% accuracy, 10% weak spot damage, and 15% aim speed. Now, at this point with the aim speed, we are going to have pretty much no time to wait between, you know, actually clicking the aim button and aiming. It's just going to be so fast at this point, along with our weak spot damage. Our weak spot damage is actually pretty respectable, being at plus 40%. Now, like, I get it, that's not hyper-focused, but I mean, we're almost achieving hyper-focus, plus all of these other good upsides, and our move speed didn't get absolutely destroyed. And this card also gives us accuracy, and I feel like that's a really, really, you know, important thing to have, because I mean, SMGs aren't necessarily the most accurate guns in the world, especially since they're made, you know, primarily for close quarters combat. So when you know, try to shoot something at range, I mean, it doesn't always really kill it that effectively. And giving these SMGs an accuracy buff, which in Back 4 Blood, how that works, it's just going to make the bullet spread tighter, which makes it, you know, a lot easier to hit our stuff. Just having that little help is all we really need. Now, at number 11, we have Wide Mouth Magwell, which gives us plus 30% reload speed and minus 5% damage resistance as the downside. I mean, just in my experience, I've always just wanted to, you know, have my SMGs just instantly reload, because I feel like reloading is just something SMGs shouldn't just really have to worry about too much, you know what I mean? Nothing like an LMG, a sniper, assault rifle, just nothing like that, you know what I mean? Now, at the number 12 spot, we have Silver Bullets, which gives us plus 7.5% bullet damage and plus 15% effective bullet range. Now, even though this card got nerfed with the big February update, I mean, this card's still good in SMG specifically, mainly because of the effective bullet range it gives us. We're not really playing this card because of the plus 7.5% bullet damage. We're playing this card because it lets us us shoot farther more accurately with our guns, just making our SMGs overall better. I mean, when you mix all of the effective bullet range buffs that we're getting, I mean, we can kind of almost shoot as far as ARs, which, I mean, being able to shoot as far as an AR with an SMG is obviously really, really good, you know what I mean? Now, number 13 is going to be high vis sights, which simply just gives us plus 30% aim speed, and much like, you know, wide mouth magwell, I feel like, you know, SMGs should just be super quick at everything, including reloading and aiming. Just in my experience, I found that, you know, having a super fast ADS speed and just a super fast reload speed are just really helpful with the build, and I mean, it's just where you want to be. Number 14 is going to be energy bar, which gives us plus 30% stamina regeneration and plus 5 health. Now, this card's primarily in here for like a finale type situation because, I mean, yeah, we have amped up, but I mean, we're not exactly the most durable of all the builds. Like, we don't really have a lot of armor cards. Our guns don't necessarily do a lot of damage. So, I mean, the stamina regeneration, I just threw in there just to make it so we don't get caught with no stamina. And I mean, that's a really easy way to die or get grabbed by a crusher. Just, you know, something not pleasant that's just going to happen to us. But hopefully with the stamina regeneration and the extra health, that won't happen. And marked for death is going to be the number 15 spot, which says mutations you ping are highlighted and your team deals 10% increased damage to highlighted enemies. This card's simply in here, you know, also for finales, you know, just to point out special infected, just so, you know, your teams could just focus fire them down super quickly, and just to round off just the damage, because honestly, I don't have that many damage cards in the deck, but I do feel like this is just a nice cap off. Like, this card's just gonna put in enough work on its own, you know, just to make it, you know, a good enough amount of damage just for the entire deck. Well, that's gonna do for the video, guys. Make sure to leave a comment down below telling me any deck changes that you guys would make, and as always, if you happen to enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more awesome Back 4 Blood content just like this. Also, make sure to check out the link to my Discord server. It's going to be down in the description below. You guys can use it to find teammates to play Back 4 Blood with, so if you guys are in some dire need of teammates, make sure to come check out the Discord server. And until next time, it's been Red, and I'll see you guys in the next video.